Hey, Ildikó, thank you so much for talking to me. I'm
Yeah,
Pedro.
nice
I'm
to
from
meet you.
Brazil.
Wow,
Uh,
you are actually in Brazil?
yeah, I'm in Brazil right now.
Where?
Have you
Where
have you
exactly?
been here before? Have you been in Brazil?
Yeah, yeah. And for years I want to return. First of all, Rio was a very, very striking, very strong place, very full of life, full of culture.
Yeah, your film just played here at the
Yeah,
the
I planned to go
European
there.
Cinema Festival. Yeah, it just
Yeah.
played. It was where I watched. Ryan sent me a link to the film, but they also said if you want to watch on the big screen, you can. So I decided to watch on the big screen. And
Oh, oh, I'm so happy because this is made also the sound. It's made.
yeah, and my first question is about that, and I'm really glad that I watched on the big screen because I watched at the best projection of my city. And what really struck me about Silent Friend is that you use three different formats in the cinematography. So in 1908, you shot in black and white and 60 millimeters. In
Oh,
97,
35, 35.
it's 35.
Yeah, yeah.
In 1970 is 60 millimeters,
Yeah,
and it's very grainy. It's very like it has a dirty look.
yeah.
And in 2020 is shot on digital, and you feel the difference. So for you, how did come the idea of portraying these three different eras of the film in different formats? And how is for you as a filmmaker to shoot on film and different types of films because I was re watching and rewatching some of your other films, and you also do this with the cinematography that is very interesting. There is a lot of grainy images, there is a lot of texture. So could you tell me about the idea of mixing these three different formats?
Well, the good thing, if you are making films for a while, that fashions are coming and going. And of course, my first film were shot in 35. Um, Even one in black and white, and even in that time, there were quite few stock materials in black and white. So Kodak created for us, especially a certain type of stock, what we needed for that film. And then came that period when it seemed that celluloid is dying and many labs were closing. And then there was this sort of, in a way, very, very useful snobism, what I'm very thankful for, that real filmmaker is shooting only on celluloid. And I think this movement saved that part of the industry somehow. And I'm so happy that today I can choose from a wide range, and I can choose what is the um, most articulate, most expressive for the film. Um, Two films before, on Body and Soul, I made it on digital and purposefully on digital because I needed that sort of bit hyper realistic crispness.
It
Uh,
has an industrial look to the film. The film seems very industrial and very modern and very uh in a
yeah,
sense also like fake in the visual, but it's like purposely fake as like capitalism. I feel this way when I was watching and I understood the images, the highly digital images. Yeah.
and here in the case of Silent Friend, it was it it was important for me to communicate through the senses and not so much through the story. So in the 1908 timeline, Greta discovers the structure of living beings, the structure of plants. This is her discovery. For that, black and white photography is the best to reveal that. The same plant appears like a impressionistic painting in this 60 millimeters color where the contours, the silhouettes are blurred, and it's rather these burning patches of color which dominate and speak to our senses. And in 2020, during the lockdown, I don't know how was it in Brazil, in
It was
Europe.
terrible
Yeah, yeah.
because we at that time we had our version of Victor Orban,
Oh,
uh, which was Bolsonaro. They are literally friends. And Bolsonaro, when Bolsonaro was about to be in jail, he asked for Orban to receive him in the Hungarian embassy in Brazil. So I think it's similar the way that both countries treated the lockdown, and a lot of people died here, and it took so much to get the vaccine. So it was nice seeing the Tony Leung part of the film where there is so much respect for what is happening. The characters in that era, they don't really come close. They are already respecting the spaces that it was necessary, and I thought it was super unrealistic for what we lived here, and because we had a very bad like leadership and administration. So I like how the film portrayed the pandemic in this form. I think it's really respectful and beautiful in some sorts. Yeah. And speaking of Tony Leung, the film, of course, has him, and I consider him as one of the greatest actors in cinema history. He's a legend. He has done a lot of classics, and you managed to cast him, but there's also really great young actors in the film, like Luna Wendler, Enzo Broom, Yung Huang. So how did you manage to cast such great young actors and work with such an experienced actor like Tony Leung, with also this young cast that also provides a very very great performances?
oh, when you are uh, inside a project, you plan a project, you become like a sleepwalker. You are just going for what is the real solution, the best solution for your film. And I really wrote this role for Tony. So in case he wouldn't have accepted it, I I also told to my producers that I sit down and I write a totally different storyline for the 2020 episode because it was really written for him. Uh, and actors are my allies, and I really need to love them also as persons. And he is also a really great human being. Um, it was a dream to work with him, really. With Luna Wedler, I worked on in a previous film, The Story of My Wife, and she's a force of nature, an amazing talent. Um, it was somehow evident that I cast for Greta. The hardest thing was to find Hannes because uh, it took nearly a year to find this young actor. It's his first film, um, and they have to also function uh, in a relationship with each other, even if they are very different and they are not interacting. Um, Somehow they're very strong and very different colors um, build a sort of human landscape in the film.
I really loved these young actors because I think that each one of them provides something different for the film. And I really like especially the 1970 uh story. I think it's really interesting how those characters like unfold and you get to know them, which is basically they become intimate, the young couple, which is not a couple actually, but they become intimate because of a flower and taking care of that flower and taking care of their garden. So I really think that it's really amazing how you direct them. And he also has this grainy look that you manage to get it. Yeah, and I think it's really poetic in that environment and I really love it. And also there's something that I was very interested because all of your films they are very humanistic. They are about relationships and about humanity. So as I was saying, I was watching your other films, and each one of them is about this humanity and how we have relationships with the others in different forms. So in my 20th century is this woman discovering the world and she has this difficult relationships with different people, and on body and soul is this two introspective individuals that are have difficulty to connect with the others, but they understand each other because of their dreams and because of uh their heads. And uh in Silent Friend, it's really interesting because this connection is between the human beings and the plants. And is Tony Leung with the giant tree, is the young couple with the flower, is the first botanist student and the plants that she cuts and she studies. So for you, how was to start writing this story, and how did a tree became a tool for you to talk about humanity and relationships?
Um, there is so much that we miss from the world if we take it for granted that we are the default. And if we just step a tiny bit outside of that blind faith, uh, uh, an amazingly rich and exciting world appears. Uh, and uh, I didn't want to tell how a tree feels or thinks. We have a very anthropomorphic vocabulary, of course. We don't have anything else. It's rather about these human attempts to step out from our own human limits, sensory limits, uh, social limits, um, and and just to recognize the other in this sense, a potted plant or a tree as a sentient being which has its own reality and all joy of life or all own suffering in case they suffer. So it was for so many years such an exciting topic for me. So somehow the film summarizes lots of reading and YouTube videos of TED Talks and lectures, what I followed because I'm passionately curious and passionately interested in um, in these experiments, because somehow scientists are not just doing these experiments to get certain results, but also for us, for amateurs, show that you can look at the world from also another angle. There are so many other angles than the one you are stuck in. And I find it liberating. I don't hear you now. You you
Ah,
are.
sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah, yeah.
I forgot it. And another thing that I saw someone talking about it on Twitter, so I decided to stay on theater to see it. Is that someone said that, oh, you need to stay in the credits for the Silent Friend because there is a amazing credits of all of the plants in the film, and I decided to stay, and I saw all the credits for the plants, and I think it's really amazing. So I was thinking how was to to decide and to get all these plants and to get or organize all of these uh trees that are you're going to shoot. How was this process? Because I think it's really it's a really difficult one because there is a lot of plants and trees in the film. So how was it?
Yeah. First of all, we had uh, the so-called normal shooting with around a medium crew, around 70 people. But every weekend and after the main shoot, uh, we had many days of mini team, just the cinematographer, the camera team, and me, um, just to catch moments of the life of plants, just catch a certain light when it hits a certain leaf, and so on. And it it was a very pleasurable way of shooting. We met many plants, not just the
Mhm.
protagonist uh, in this process. So somehow, when the edit was ready, it was evident that they have to be in the end credits. And I asked our second assistant, who is also a very good friend, and she worked on it frame by frame, watching every material which ended up in the final cut, with the help of her mother, who is a botanist, just to identify little back actors as well, in the background of every frame. So it was a big work for her.
And lastly, my last question is that you have more than 35 years of career. You won Camera d'Or at Cannes. You won the Golden Bear at Berlinale. But Silent Friend is another hit moment of your career, with such great audiences, reactions, and acclaim from the critics. Critics loved it in Venice. So how does it feel for you to have such a massive repercussion with your new film? How does it feel for you that?
Uh, I don't know if you can find any filmmaker who says that it's a piece of cake to make the next film. It is never so easy. And after years of work, it is just a really, really homey, heartwarming feeling to to see the reactions of the audiences. It means that, okay, then we didn't work in vain. And I really wanted emotionally to touch people, and then everyone can can do with any of the layer of this film whatever they want. And um, depending on the phase where you are, you can seem someone very accomplished, very successful, or you can be a debutante, because every project is just starting from zero.
So thank you so much for talking to me, Ildikó. Congratulations on the release of the film. I really think it's marvelous, and yeah, congratulations. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Mhm. Thank you. And thank you for going to the cinema and watching it on big screen.
Yeah, of course, it was a great experience. I really liked watching on the festival, on the European Cinema Festival by Imovision. I really hope they play the film here in theaters, so everybody can watch. So thank you so much, Tuco. Thank you so much, Ryan.